Welcome to the Smart Mortgage Show. Glad to have you, Ben George, with Bill Litton. He is Regional President of Cross Country Mortgage. Glad to have you on the show. This is part of our new series we're doing, Bill, this one-star mortgage review. And again, a reminder, these are just reviews that are out there online that you might be searching around, looking for different lenders, come across reviews. I know it's very common to look at reviews to help make decisions. These are some of the reviews we found that from people that were most frustrated with the process. We want to kind of bring them to the show, talk about why, what happened, what could have gone wrong, and really what you should expect a good experience to be. So, Bill, got to kind of set that table before we dive into this one today.
So, yeah, Ben, this is a great subject because we see these reviews far too often. So a one-star review, it's a reality. These things happen. Just a quick side note, we've never received a one-star review, thank God. But that's by design. We work really hard to not put people in these positions.
All right, so here's this review that we want to break down today. And I know a lot of people, have questions about the pre-approval process. So here was the actual review that was out there. They got 1 star. So, quote, got pre-approved, found a house, made an offer, and then was denied 2 days before closing. I lost my earnest money. The pre-approval was completely worthless. So, Bill, I mean, this obviously, I think for anyone going through this would probably leave a 1-star review for the experience. So what do you think happened here?
I think I know what happened here. I literally just received a file from a previous client of mine had a friend or has a friend who ran into the same situation. We just received their file. I can see exactly what happened. The other lender essentially did not do their due diligence, meaning it starts with the loan officer. And it's very simple. The loan officer can either do a really quick job, glance at a W-2, glance at a credit report and issue a pre-approval, or they can follow a very specific sequential process where everything gets reviewed. There's a quality control mechanism in place that basically makes certain that the pre-approvals that you send out are high quality, meaning there's not going to be any issues. And even, it's one thing to say, I guarantee we're going to get you to the table, but also based on all of the high quality, accurate information. So you know exactly what to expect when you get there. There's not going to be any surprises.
And that's the big thing here. And, you don't want to have surprises. We talked about that, and we've detailed that pre-approval process and then how Bill and his team get people to the closing table. But why would it happen so close to closing here, Bill? I think obviously that's a big frustration, getting within 2 days of that big moment and then this kind of falling through. So, is it common for when things go wrong for it to happen so close to closing?
Well, I think what's common is that when a loan officer makes a mistake, they live in a silo. They're afraid to let all parties know that, hey, there's an issue. We can't get this closed. They kind of drag it out a lot of times when they could have probably made the buyer and the realtor know a lot sooner in the process. So that's usually why they're hoping and they're trying to put things together. They're trying to patch it up, and it might not be something that can be saved. It might have no chance of ever closing.
And this, coming across this too, is not good in general. But, for anyone that's getting set to get a home and think, well, I've heard I need to get a pre-approval, but I'm reading something like this, that the pre-approval is completely worthless. That's not the case though, right? The pre-approval is so important to get done ahead of time so you truly know what kind of house you can afford, right?
Yeah, the pre-approval is really important because at least our pre-approval process is very consultative, educational. We're going to, you're going to learn a whole lot through that process. And our pre-approval is also very high quality. The word quality is not, you don't hear it a whole lot in the lending world, and it's so important. And by the way, we are not the only, I know a lot of lenders that provide a high quality product. Just make sure you're working with a lender that's providing a high quality pre-approval, or you could end up in this situation where it was worthless and your deposit money's at risk essentially, or you could end up with, hey, we got you to settlement, but the loan, the cash needed, the payments look nothing like what you expected.
Well, what is a good pre-approval process then, Bill? What should, if you are, new to this, and most people don't do this a whole lot, right? So it is a new process. How do you know if you're getting a good pre-approval?
So I think that the thing that we talk about the most with our customers is the easier that they make it up front. You go online, you answer 4 questions, and you have a pre-approval letter. You should be very concerned because they've not looked at anything. So the easier that they make it up front, the more difficult it's going to be on the back end. By the way, even for the best buyers with perfect credit that have no issues, if they issue you a pre-approval up front with no information, they've not reviewed anything, they don't know the details, now they're going to need to play catch up and gather all that stuff and figure it out. But now you're under contract, so it's within a timeline, you're under duress. So the easier the lender makes it up front, the more concerned you should be, because they need to do a certain amount of due diligence to make sure you can be pre-approved, essentially approved, and obtain the loan.
If you found yourself in this position, Bill, where the deal fell apart and you were denied right before closing, what are your options at that point? Like, I mean, are you still able to kind of save that home? What should you do next?
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that we had one come to us yesterday that was a very similar situation, and the lender that they were talking to that made a bunch of crucial errors does not have the product set that we do to get it done. So we actually have a lot of different products, many different options, and we were able to employ some tactics and use a program that's going to allow them to purchase their house on time, very close to what they thought they were going to get from a terms perspective, payments, cash to close. So really, I would say so we work with a ton of great real estate agents. Most of them work with a reputable lender. If you went kind of off script and said, I'm going to go find my own lender, which can be fine, but it also can be a problem. I suspect that's what these folks did. Maybe go to your real estate agent and ask them, hey, do you have a trusted lender that you think could take this over and get us to, the finish line here? The other thing I would mention is, in this specific instance, this customer came from a previous client that had a great experience. So get a referral from somebody that you trust, who's, makes good decisions, and you can definitely, right the ship and get pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, very good. You can always get more information from Bill. Begin those conversations by texting the word LEND to 21,000. He is regional president there at Cross Country Mortgage. You can find everything online with us at smartmortgageshow.com. You'll find it all in the show description as well to make it easy for you. But not a situation you want to be in, Bill, and these 1-star reviews. Trying to bring some light to it to help people kind of understand the process a little bit better, because it is overwhelming at times to go through the home buying process. It can be very frustrating if things don't work out the way you want and you don't have transparency along the way, which is what we're trying to provide. I know you do provide that all the time with the people you work with there at Cross Country Mortgage. So we'll do this again. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up in the video. Also, leave a comment as well if you have a question about the process or maybe had a frustration of your own. We'll try to address it on a future episode. But appreciate you watching us again here on the Smart Mortgage Show. We'll talk to you again soon. Bill, hope you have a great week.
Thank you so much.
This program is for informational purposes only. Please consult a qualified professional before taking any action. Bill Litton is a loan advisor and regional president with Cross Country Mortgage, NMLS number 147060.